Scandalous facts about Brad Pitt, Hollywood's golden boy. When Brad Pitt stepped onto the screen as a cowboy hitchhiker in Thelma and Louise, he cemented his place in Hollywood, and he's only continued to build his legacy with films like Fight Club, Ocean's 11 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yet for all his rugged good looks and acting chops, his life has been as full of ups and downs as his critically acclaimed films. Here are 45 little-known facts about Hollywood golden boy Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt facts. 1. Willie Pitt doesn't have the same ring to it. Brad isn't even his first name. Pitt's birth name was William Bradley Pitt. Born December 18, 1963, he is the son of Jane Etta, a school counselor, and William Alvin Pitt, a truck company manager. Getty Images. 2. Humble beginnings. Before he became successful at acting, Brad Pitt supported himself by moving refrigerators, dressing as a giant chicken while working for El Pollo Loco, and working as a limo driver for exotic dancers. Flickr, Andrew Bishop. 3. Sorry George. After many small parts in TV shows and on film, Brad Pitt finally gained widespread attention with his supporting role in 1991's Thelma and Louise, where he played J.D., a sexy criminal who befriends Thelma, Gina Davis's character. George Clooney had auditioned for the role of J.D. multiple times before it went to the Pitt, who was relatively unknown. For years, Clooney couldn't bring himself to watch the film, joking in 2011 that he was still upset. Flickr. 4. Not into murders and executions, mostly. On the advice of his management, Brad Pitt declined the lead role in American Psycho 2000, which eventually went to Christian Bale. It was thought that the Heartthrob's fan base might not have responded too fondly to him attacking women with a chainsaw. American Psycho Lionsgate Films. 5. Simply irresistible. Pitt and Nicole Kidman were initially cast as the happy couple in the stylish spy vs. spy flick Mr. and Mrs. Smith 2005, but the film was almost never made because of Pitt. At first, Pitt nearly pulled out due to the lack of chemistry between himself and Kidman. When he learned Angelina Jolie was to play the female lead, he signed on immediately. Whether or not it raised eyebrows at the time, it certainly would once the film came out. Flickr. 6. Copycat. On July 18, 2001, Brad Pitt sued Damiani International, the company that created the wedding ring he gave to Jennifer Aniston. According to Pitt, the ring was his design and was supposed to be exclusive. Afterward, the company sold replicas that indicated they were endorsed by Pitt and Aniston. Shutterstock. 7. The birth of Brangelina. It was on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith that Pitt, who had married Jennifer Aniston in a highly publicized ceremony in 2000, met Angelina Jolie. Pitt and Aniston went on to divorce in 2005. A month after Aniston filed for divorce, Pitt was spotted vacationing with Jolie and her adopted son Maddox, setting off a saga that would keep the tabloids in business for the next decade and beyond. Getty Images. 8. Dress You Up in My Love. In 1999, a woman went to Pitt's Hollywood area home shortly after midnight and crawled in through an open window, but it gets even creepier. The woman then dressed in Pitt's clothes and stayed for 10 hours before the alarm system went off. Athena Rolando, 19, was ordered not to contact the actor and to stay 100 yards away from him for 3 years. We wonder if he had a word with the alarm company after their delayed reaction. Shutterstock. 9. Moving on up. What better to do with the cash earned from Interview with the Vampire than to purchase a home fit for one? In 1996, Brad Pitt purchased a mansion in Southern California from Cassandra Peterson, the actress who portrays horror hostess Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. The house was filled with gothic antiques and has a vampire-ish look. He reportedly paid $1.7 million for it. Flickr. Rick Harris. 10. Greetings and salutations. Pitt made his name as a criminal named J.D. in the cult classic Thelma and Louise, but in a strange coincidence, he almost played a character with the same name and profile 3 years earlier. He auditioned for the role of JD in the cult classic film Heathers, 1988, and, though he showed talent, casting directors thought him to be too sweet for the role. It later went to Christian Slater. Flickr. 11. Same difference, right? After watching the 1998 British crime comedy Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, Brad Pitt asked director Guy Ritchie if he could be in his next film. Pitt could not master the English accent, so Ritchie gave him the role of One Punch Mickey Pikey, an Irish fighter, in his 2000 film Snatch. Wikipedia. 12. Getting into character. In 2003, Brad Pitt tore his Achilles tendon during the production of Troy, in which he plays, ironically, Achilles. His injury caused the production of the hotly anticipated sequel Ocean's 12 to be pushed back to April 2004. Troy, Plan B Entertainment. 13. Waiting for number 3. Pitt was the first man ever to be named Sexiest Man Alive twice by People magazine. He was awarded the title in 1994 and 2000. Wikimedia Commons. 14. 3 for 7 and 12. Pitt has appeared in 3 movies with the number 7 in the title, SE7EN, 1995, 7 Years in Tibet, 1997, and Sinbad, Legend of the Seven Seas, 2003. Strangely enough, Pitt has also appeared in 3 movies with the number 12 in the title, 12 Monkeys, 1995, Ocean's 12, 2004, and 12 Years a Slave, 2013. Someone call a numerologist and tell us what this means. 12 Years a Slave, Regency Enterprises. 15. Talk about high profile. Brad Pitt's dating history has made him tabloid fodder for basically his entire career. In 1990, he dated Juliette Lewis when he was 27 years old and she was 17. He was briefly engaged to Gwyneth Paltrow in the mid-90s, they broke up in 1997. He met Jennifer Aniston in 1998 after their agents set them up on a blind date. Is it really a blind date when you're 2 of the most famous faces in Hollywood? Getty Images. 16. They'll be there for you. Ocean's 11, Ocean's 12 co-stars Brad Pitt, Julia Roberts, George Clooney, and Elliot Gould have all guest starred on the sitcom Friends, though not in the same episodes. In his episode, which was filmed when he was married to Jennifer Aniston, Pitt played a childhood friend of Ross's who hated Rachel and started a vicious rumor about her. I'm pretty sure if you were a megastar in the 90s or early 2000s, you were contractually obligated to make a guest appearance on Friends. Friends, Warner Brothers. Television. 17. A Helping Hand. Pitt is a prolific philanthropist and humanitarian. Among his causes are fighting AIDS and poverty in the developing world, funding for embryonic stem cell research, Nelson Mandela's 46,664 campaign, and DATA, a third world lobby group co-founded by U2's Bono. Getty Images. 18. Hello. I'd like to report a kidnapping. Surprisingly, Pitt is a huge fan of the MTV reality show Jackass. He even asked the cast if he could join them during one of their stunt jokes. At first, host Johnny Knoxville had no idea how to include him, but then he came up with an outrageous, albeit disturbing, idea. Pitt was filmed standing in line at a restaurant in LA when, all of a sudden, he was thrown into a van by a group of masked men in front of a crowd of shocked onlookers. Some in the crowd began to call the police to report the abduction, while others tried to stop the van before it sped off. Jackass, MTV. 19. Can't win 'em all. When Brad Pitt didn't make it onto his middle school's basketball team, he got creative. He put together his own unofficial squad whom he jokingly named the Cherokee Rejects, and even enlisted his father, Bill Pitt, as coach. Pixabay. 20. The Long Shot. While attending the University of Missouri,